Hey, everybody. Good morning. How are you? It has been a while since I've been here, and how sweet of some of you to message me and say, "Where have you been?" I thought it would just be the most convenient way for me to just jump on here live and tell you exactly where I've been. I have been very busy. The project that I'm currently working on is probably the biggest thing I've ever done, probably will ever do, and it's very focused for right now on my local community of Moore County, North Carolina. But the idea is to prove a specific model of care here locally using outcome measures, looking at impact, using the power of coordinated community action and philanthropy to be able to truly change the culture of dementia care. So, one of the big things that keeps me up at night is the lack of engagement in memory care. Lack of engagement comes all the way from the very beginning at stigma related to people avoiding getting diagnosed early and accurately, all the way up to the end stages of memory care units. We know from good quality research that people in memory care units get about 11 minutes of engagement on any given day. And that is not okay. And about 80% of that is related to food and eating. So, what we really need is a lot more human to human contact with knowledge and skills. So, what I'm going to do today is tell you about the Engaged Brains Project. And it's something that I've really dreamed of doing for actually about 30 to 35 years since I became a caregiver when I was 15 years old, but really never thought I would have the opportunity to do something on this scale. And it's only through the absolutely incredible community support of the Foundation of First Health here in the Sandhills area of North Carolina that I am able to make this dream come true. So, the first thing I want to let you know is what a major win this is for people all across the globe who are committed to advancing the cause of positive person-centered dementia care. We know that we still have a really, really low standard for what it means to truly take care of people in this most vulnerable time of life. We do a really, really good job taking care of kids, and we don't do a great job on the other end of the developmental spectrum. So I want you to just visualize for a minute a vibrant children's hospital. Okay, I did a lot of my training in Boston, so Boston Children's is what comes to mind. And you think of the sunlight and the bright colors and the high staff to patient engagement ratio. You think of the low staff to resident engagement ratio. You think of the incredible resources that go into children life specialists, professionals who are just there specifically to make sure the social, psychological adjustment of the child and their family is optimal. Now, I want you to visualize a typical nursing home, and I want you to think about the very stark differences all the way from a sensory perspective, all the way through an activities perspective, and what constitutes good care. In the early phases of life, we know that it's not just a pure medical model that's going to get people well and get them optimized. We know that a lot more goes into it than just giving meds, keeping kids clean, making sure they get their basic nutrition. We know that engagement is a key part of that wellness model. So, what we're really trying to do is make that exact same thing happen in elder care. And I think we're behind the eight ball and we need to move forward. So, about a year ago, actually, right around this time, very exciting things were happening for me professionally because I had made a pitch to our local nonprofit, the Foundation of First Health, that I would like to be what I was calling a mid-career fellow with them, meaning I would have a 2 to 3 year supported time span where I could really be a thought leader, mover, and shaker in this space of older adult dementia care. And I really wanted to create what I'm calling a person-centered care pathway in my community. So we needed two parts. One was in the medical side. We needed to get a lot better at how primary care and palliative care identify and manage people with dementia in all three areas: the cognitive, the mood behavior, and the everyday function. Because right now, that's who's absorbing a lot of the cognitive issues that we see in medical systems. We just don't have enough specialists. There are last I checked, maybe 30 to 35 board certified neuropsychologists in North Carolina. And I'm very proud to be one of those. But the truth is, we just don't have enough space in our schedule to manage the rapid balloon that's coming our way of older adults. So as we get older, that is the number one risk factor for all of the dementias. And we know dementia is not inevitable as we get older, but we do know it's the most significant risk factor, and it's non-modifiable. So far, you can't really do anything about that, even though there's many, many things on the other side that are actually changeable. But as we get more older adults, what we're going to see across the globe is really the baby boomers coming into the dementia risk age. So we better get working. We better get doing something. So what I proposed to this amazing local foundation is that I wanted my pathway to contain 5 improvements and advances. The first one is I wanted to get better the medical system. So we have First Health of the Carolinas and Pinehurst Medical Clinic down here at early and accurate diagnosis. So standardizing cognitive screens in primary care, supporting person-centered care in palliative. So really throughout the spectrum of how you might interface with the local medical community, I wanted those providers to be better trained, have better resources, and be able to really connect and alleviate some of what I think of as the unnecessary suffering that goes along with dementia. Dementia in and of itself is a challenge in many ways, but we actually make it worse through the stigma, the boredom, the social isolation, the lack of medical support, the lack of community support. The next part in my care pathway is science-based education for the public, and that's really how we know each other here, is trying to get really good information in front of people so they do what actually works. They get a return on their investment for their behavior changes and don't rely on scams, over-the-counter supplements that aren't really going to do anything. The next one is making person-centered positive care the standard of care. So what do I mean by that? I mean that every person who takes care of someone with a brain health challenge should actually be empowered with evidence-based skills. We think we have the heart for the job, but the truth is the job also takes knowledge and skills. And really that is our main problem in dementia care, is that we have an unskilled care force that is doing the direct person-to-person care, but they just have not had the opportunity to understand what works. And what is true about human nature is that it can get frustrating, it can get overwhelming, it can get irritating when someone repeats over and over again, when they're agitated and you can't figure out what is wrong. So what I'm really excited to do is bring a established model of care from an amazing, legendary dementia renegade named Teepa Snow and her amazing person-centered care approach, positive-centered care approach, to 60 community champions in my community, Moore County, North Carolina. So we have people from the hospital systems, from the medical systems, from banking to home care, to care partners, to people actually living and thriving with the dementias. We have people from nutrition, physical fitness. It's just absolutely incredible, the people in my community who have come forward who said, I will go through 20 plus hours of positive approach to care training. And then what I'm going to do is tell 5 other people, I'd like to take them on a 1-year-long mission to disseminate the message of positive person-centered care. And we want those 5 people to go on and tell 5 to 10 more people. So we're using this model that Malcolm Gladwell put forth in The Tipping Point, which talks about social contagiousness of needed change. How is it that you flip a culture? How can you move from the old school way of doing something, get into people's heart, minds, and actions, and actually take them through a journey where we all wind up better on the other side. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next year. I will definitely still be on here. I will definitely still be letting you know what I'm doing, but this is what's really been consuming a lot of my time. So what we're going to do is, after a year of doing what we're calling impact projects, which is hundreds, if not thousands of us going out in my community and making small and big ripples in the pond, what we've been invited to do through our local hospital system is use their public health data to look at pre and post function, pre and post, how are we actually impacting the system? So we want to look at things like, can we get fewer people going to the emergency room with dementia, with behavior issues, if their caregivers actually know how to meet their unmet needs? We want to look at, can we get home health aides to stay on the job longer because they feel good about their work and they feel empowered to affect positive change. We want to look at the rates of antipsychotic medications that are being prescribed in our community to see, can we get music as medicine as opposed to some of these more significant sedating drugs. There is certainly a time and a place for them in dementia care, but we do think they are much, much overused. So the big barriers right now in dementia care are that we have a lack of training, low resources, and we don't have the money to fund it. That is a sad but true part of this. You actually need what I now know is philanthropy, is generosity of people who are lucky and blessed and have worked really hard in their life to give their hard-earned dollars, their hard-earned expertise to the cause. So I'm very pleased to be in a position 10 years into my community involvement in Moore County to say I feel really good about leading this community into action through the Engaged Brains Project. We've had 2 public information sessions and we had over 200 people come out. Like I said, we have 60 people who are willing to donate at a minimum 20 hours. If not, we're going to be meeting every month throughout the year. It's incredible to think what we're going to be able to do together. So over the next few YouTube lectures I'm going to introduce you to Teepa Snow and her Positive Approach to Care team. If you don't know about them, Teepa and her people are the absolute best at what they do. There is no need for me to reinvent the wheel and tell you how I think people with dementia should be treated and cared for when Teepa and her team already do it beautifully. So we're going to be having you meet Teepa. I'm going to hop over on her platform. She's here on YouTube. Please give her page a subscription click if you would. And then I'm going to spend some time telling you how are we putting our newfound dedication into practice. How does the Engaged Brains Project live? That's what I care about most, is bringing person-centered care to life. So you may have heard of dementia-friendly communities. And what we're really trying to do is take that level and make the current standard obsolete. We want to take it to an entirely different level. We want to, through the lens and the philosophy of radical engagement, which is humans helping humans, love helping people who can love versus people who need love, people who want to give support versus people who need support. Because you're either going to be on one end of that spectrum at some point in your life. You're either going to be a care partner or you're going to need a care partner. So let's do it better. So I'm really excited to come to you in the next few weeks and tell you about some of our projects. We've been very happy to receive the endorsement of the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina, and we have a corporate sponsor that we're really excited to announce in the next couple weeks. These are by far some of the most exciting things that have been happening to me personally in my career as a neuropsychologist, and I think to my dementia community locally. And the idea is, after the next year, when we can prove that this model of coordinated community action and philanthropy is the special sauce, is the magic ingredient to get us over the hurdle of still accepting arcane care for people with dementia, we will be so much better for it. So thank you guys so much. I'm really excited to be back with you, and you'll see me again soon. Take care. Bye.